Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning into these videos. And in this video, I wanted to speak about how right now Esau, being in control of the world, is not beholding the majesty of the Lord, nor will he learn righteousness. In the land of ripeness, which is the land of Israel, where he has those people that aren't the biblical Israelites, they're over there proclaiming that they're the people of the scriptures, yet they're pushing nothing but wickedness, and everything in this world is backwards. This is the worst case scenario for all life, and we're seeing all of this wickedness that he's doing. It's starting to cause an effect to everything around us, from the trees to the air to the people and the mindset of everybody, because he's going to push nothing but wickedness in the minds of the people. See, if the real men of the Lord were in the land, and were going to be, after all this is said and done, pursuing to Daniel's visions that he had in those dreams, once all these heathen kingdoms rule for a time short, and Yahweh Shai returns and puts the elect to rule the earth in righteousness forever, never to be taken out of power, that's when true righteousness is going to happen, and the world is going to be healing from all of this wickedness that Esau has been pushing. It's gonna get so bad that once Esau Edom is put out of power and put into slavery, the trees are even going to rejoice at the fact, and all the animals are going to rejoice as well. There's going to be a moment of a time of peace established forever in the world, and that's what we're yearning for in this ministry. Because if you're in this ministry and you're out there on the highways and hedges, you're making yourself a prey for righteousness' sake. We're putting our lives down on the line because we know that this is not our rest, and we're seeking a kingdom to come. And we know and understand that this devil is literally the source of all wickedness and evil on this earth. And so what better motivation but to prophesy speaking against this devil, because of all the wickedness that he has done. And so I'm going to start this video reading in Jeremiah 51, and I'm going to start at verse 7, or actually I'll start at verse 6, because when we're out there, we're also preaching to the nation of Israel, and we know that the hopeful elect are going to hear these words. They're going to come by it, and it's going to turn something on in their minds, so they can yearn for righteousness, because we're out there preaching for those who seek the kingdom and who want righteousness. Just as it says in Yahweh Shai's, well, actually, I'm going to read that real quick. So this is in Matthew 5, and I'll just start at verse 5, or verse 4. It says, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted." And so all the people who are mourning for all this evil that's happening, we're resting in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai and being comforted in his ways. And verse 4 says, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled." So it's those who hunger and thirst for righteousness that are going to be filled. This message is only for the elect, because people who are in this world, they're still chasing that corruptible crown. They don't see this as a possible avenue, or they ultimately just don't have faith. But they're in unbelief, and their incredulity. Sorry, I'm gonna get that in Second Ezra. I'm gonna get the whole chapter. So just because a person doesn't believe in what we're speaking about isn't going to hinder what the prophecies are going to establish. And I want to read this real quick in 2 Ezra 15, verse 3. It says, "Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee." And I believe the word incredulity is the ability to not believe. So as the definition says, the state of being unwilling or unable to believe something. So we're not going to lose faith because a person doesn't have faith. We know and understand that this word has been given to those of the hopeful elect. And so those people, they don't see this as profitable because they just want this society to continue. They don't see anything wrong with what's going on right now. So the scriptures need to apply to you. So like here back in Matthew 5 and verse 6, it says, "Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see Yahweh Bashim Hawashai. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of the Most High." And right now, the peacemakers are those who are standing stiffly for the name of the Lord, who are putting their lives on the line right now, preaching this gospel, this good news that's contrary to this world. And in verse 10 it says, "Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Alright, so I'm going to go back here in Jeremiah 51 and 6, because we're out there and we're calling to the elect, those that have ears to hear, and that these precepts that I'm reading to apply to you. Alright, so this is in Jeremiah 51 and 6. It says, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense." And so the day of the Lord is drawing nigher and nigher. And this place right here, Babylon, which is known as America, but Babylon in the scriptures is the place where we're going to be delivered. Only those that are standing stiffly for the names of the Lord. People who aren't getting the wake up call, they're not seeing the destruction looming, the looming threat of all the food shortages and all these plagues that are about to hit this place big time, and having that MOTB pushed out in the forefront. They're not fleeing out of the midst of Babylon. They're just standing idly by. And we're saying that the only way that you could deliver your own soul is by repenting and coming into this fold, so that you can be delivered and shown to be worthy to be delivered, actually. So it says, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense." And so the day of the Lord is darkness and not light, to those who are still settled in their lease here in Babylon, who trust in the shadow of Egypt, who forsake the Lord continually, day in and day out. So there's going to be a time where the Lord puts a cutoff to that, because right now all the wickedness of this place has reached into the heavens, but it's going to get to a point where enough is enough, and He's going to start really sending out these plagues, and then you're going to see everything else culminate to World War III, and leading to the delivering of the elect. And so verse 7 says, "Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed." So right now Babylon is pushing out that wine of fornication, wickedness, and vain philosophies. And like, for example, the laws of the scriptures are slack. They're not being pushed out there. Like, for example, the fact that if a place cooks dead pork on a range or a stove, that thing and the pots and pans need to be destroyed. It's not enough that you could just have to wash them. And another thing, more specifically on like what I saw in the news, is I think it was the New York Bay area, or like where they have their water over there in New York, or I forget what city it was. Let me see if I can Google it real quick. Yeah, so I saw this on the news, where right now they're trying to put a lot of oysters into the habitats so they could do what they were made to do. Because right now Esau is contrary to the scriptures, and he's fishing these, with the boatload, and he's feeding the people of the world this, and pretty much telling them that this is actually a thing that is sustainable. But now it's to the point where it's not sustainable, and that it's a blatant lie to even say that. and the fact that these things weren't being they weren't doing their job, and they were being fished at an all-time high. The earth was starting to mourn, and so now right now they're at the last of it, they're pretty much saying that they're going to try to put a whole bunch of oysters into the ocean so they could repair the damage that they have done. But ultimately it's too late. The judgment is going to happen for those who have done these things. That's why we speak to our people, those of the nation of Israel, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, who are the real Hebrew Israelites, that the real way to life is the scriptures, and keeping within the laws. And in the kingdom, when it's established, these laws are going to be in effect, and we're not going to speak about this lightly. Like he has all these articles, but he doesn't point out that the Hebrew Israelites of the scriptures don't eat these because it's unlawful, and there is a reason for that. But it's too late for that. Babylon is pretty much destroyed and fallen, as it says here in verse 8. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. And so right now, people, no matter what they're trying to do to try to prop this place back up, it's too late. The Lord now requires judgment. And then I want to read this here in 2 Ezra 15:6. It says, For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. And so it's not just the oysters and the topic of unclean foods that's being pushed out here. You look at the scriptures, and every law is being broken every day in the society, and Esau is making sure that that is going to happen. And then continuing on, verse 7 says, Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Just as I was reading here in Matthew 5. And I want to read this here in Wisdom of Solomon 14:22, and it goes into this is in the GNT, and it says the results of idolatry. Now that's the header that they have for this part of the chapter. So this is Wisdom of Solomon 14:22. So it says, One thing led to another. It was not enough to be wrong about the knowledge of God. They lived in a state of evil warfare, but they were so ignorant that they called it peace. They murdered children in their initiation rituals, celebrated secret ministries, and held wild ceremonial orgies with unnatural practices. They no longer kept their lives or their marriages pure. A man might kill another by an act of treachery, or cause him grief by committing adultery with his wife. Everything was a complete riot of bloody murder, robbery, deceit, corruption, faithlessness, disorder, and falsehood. And like right here, I'm reading this, and it makes me think of what's currently going on here in Babylon. Like the marriages are not pure, and then from reading here, it says a man might kill another by an act of treachery, or cause him grief by committing adultery with his wife. And you got to understand that Esau Edom, he has the Bible in his hand. He knows these scriptures, yet he's not going to learn righteousness. The soul within him is not upright. He's literally crooked, and he's lower than the beasts of the field. And that's why he needs to get taken out of power. Because if it were possible, he would destroy everything. But that's why the times are moved quick for the elect's sake. And you turn on the radio, and you got a direct I'm gonna say like this. It says, read here. It says cause him grief by committing adultery with his wife. And all the music, a lot of the music, not gonna say all of it, but a lot of the music that's pushed constantly on the radio is about this very topic. So yeah, Esau Edom is right here guilty of this. Having the Bible in his hand, ruling the world, and then letting this fester and just be out there. And there's not a big outcry for this to stop. People of this world and society will actually tell you to shut up because you're killing the mood, or you're trying to stop a good time from happening. But ultimately, all these things they're gonna cease to happen once Yahweh Shai starts cracking them clouds. But continuing on in verse 25, it says, everything was a complete riot of bloody murder, robbery, deceit, corruption, faithlessness, disorder, falsehood, harassment of innocent people, ingratitude, moral decay, sexual perversion, broken marriages, adultery, and immorality. The worship of idols whose names should never be spoken is the beginning and the end and the cause and the result of every evil. People who worship them lose control of themselves in ecstasy or pass off lies as prophecies. And that this sounds just like the 2/3 of the nation of Israel. Our people are constantly looking to be satisfied and satiated, because this society is ruled by Esau Edom, and Esau is a carnal man. Therefore, as the ruler is, so are the people. So they're constantly just trying to listen for a good time, or feed off whatever desire that they have, because this society is literally propped to do that. And it's okay to probably eat a snack or two, listen to some music, play some video games here and there, but you have to understand that us in this ministry, a thing that you're practicing is temperance. We're putting off this world. We know and understand that all these things can consume us and take our distraction away from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And he's a jealous power. So we have to know and understand that topic of temperance. Just going to get the definition of temperance. And the first one right here, it says abstinence from alcoholic drink. Alcohol is wine, but in I forget the word how you say it, but if you drink too much, it becomes a bad thing. That's actually spoken about in the scriptures. And then this is a better definition. It says the quality of moderation or self-restraint. And a lot of these people in the society do not have self-restraint. And they want to listen to smooth things, false prophets. Whatever they hear, and it applies to their do what thou wilt doctrine, they pass that off as a prophecy, just as it says right here. And then it says, or live wickedly, or break their word without hesitation. They tell lies under oath and expect no punishment, because the idols they put their trust in are lifeless. But punishment will finally catch up with them for two reasons. First, they were in error about God when they worshipped idols, and second, they had so little regard for holiness that they made false statements to deceive people. And that makes me think about these pork chop eating pastors making false statements and speaking about what their mind has to say on what the scriptures are speaking about, given a false breakdown on what is holy, what is separate. They love to mix the world in with the Bible, but all those people, they're going to be punished. But it says, verse 31, it says, when unrighteous people commit sin, they will be hunted down, not by the power of whatever thing they swear by, but by the punishment that sinners deserve. So that's going to be the MO once the kingdom is established. We're going to make sure that even the heathens are following after the laws, because we can't have our oceans running low on oysters, because those are a vital part of life and creation. They were put there for a reason, amongst other things. This isn't just the only thing that the world is crying about and yearning for a righteous ruler. But right now, Esau Edom is being exposed, and its society is crumbling. We're seeing the plagues happening already, but we know that there's going to be more plagues to hit this place. And all the people who were drinking the wines of fornications, they're looking at this place and realizing that this place is no good. You got the 1/3 even waking up because of these facts, that it's getting more and more blatant. Like in recent events, you got the Budweiser and the Target. They had these little scenarios where they had just a whole bunch of alphabet agenda stuff just thrown out into your face. Well, a lot of people don't really mess with that. That's actually the minority of the world's population that are okay with that type of vibration. And a lot of these people are going to know and understand what Matthew 5 is really speaking about in these last days, because wickedness has exceedingly polluted this whole place. And the Lord is showing these things, and the prophets are speaking these things also. We're setting our face against Mount Seir. That's why we were commanded to be there on the highways and hedges, because from our apostles of Great Millstone and the elders on down, we've been doing this for 30 plus years. And you got these Johnny-come-lately Christians, all of a sudden they have the breakdown of the book of Obadiah, just because we're out there standing in boldness in front of those who have afflicted us. Well, it's too late, because they're coming in that vibration that they want to put us back to sleep. But the elect are standing up, and that's what everybody's fearing. And we're the two witnesses pointing at this devil and all the wickedness that he's doing, all through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. It's not of us personally. It's like carnally we are not doing these things. It's spiritually, that Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is speaking through his men. So this is in Nahum 3 verse 5. It says, "Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirt upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame." So all this nakedness that Esau Edom is being presented unto the nations. It's the things that he's doing behind closed doors, and for example, like he has things under his skirt. Those things he's going to be met with judgment. And another precept real quick is in Revelation 11 verse 18. It says, "And the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth." So the judgment that's going to happen to those that destroy the world is that they're going to be destroyed. And among other things, he that leadeth to captivity shall go into captivity. And we could read this in the book of Obadiah. It's a very short book in the Bible, but it's a very strong book in the Bible, because it goes into the punishment and the judgment of Esau, especially concerning these last days. And I'm just going to jump into the main points. This is in Obadiah verse. Actually, I'm just going to start at the top. So this is the book of Obadiah. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, concerning Edom. And this is you have to understand that Esau Edom, this is a prophecy concerning him, just as it says in the book of 2nd Ezra. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So this message right here, it concerns Esau Edom, and he is currently ruling the world in these last days. If not, then who is he? But continuing on, it says, "We have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen." That ambassador is his men, the prophets. And it's continuing on, it says, "Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, and saith in his heart, Who shall bring me down to the ground?" And that's the pride of this devil. And the scripture says that pride goeth before a fall. And in verse 4 it says, "Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. If thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?" And so right now, the Lord has set up his men to be the two witnesses. Judah and Ephraim. That's what it symbolizes. And they're out here cursing this devil out, and reading these news articles, and watching the times, and pretty much pointing out that his grand plan to put the MOTB in everybody, it's not gonna succeed. because Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai has risen up his elect to speak against him in these last days. And in verse 7 it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. And so this is going into how Esau was in cahoots with all these other heathen nations, even our own people. But now all those who are at confederacy with him are going to go against with him. He thought that he was at peace with them, but now you got speaks about World War III, something that is spoken about in prophecy. And then in verse 8 says, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And if you can read on, continuing on, but it's basically speaking about how Esau Edom is going to be met with judgment, just as what I was just reading here. His wickedness has reached into the heavens, so now is the time for judgment. And with that, I'd like to give all honor and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rahakodash, Shalom Akim.